time together. We do our best to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We don't pull punches. We like punching out. But I have to be totally honest with you. I'm what you call a Democratic Party hater. I'm being honest with you. I'm a Democratic Party hater. I can't understand why my people get their votes to one party 95% of the time. Yeah, I got a problem with that. Nobody else does that. And I got some fools saying, y'all got good taste. Now, that's the elites of the Democratic Party. There ain't nobody else saying that. Everybody else is like, really? Wow. Well, that doesn't seem very democratic. Yeah, I know. I know. Is that because they do so well by us? It's not because they're so great to us. No, that's not why. It's not because we run the party. It's not that, even though some of these Negroes act like we do. They act like that's the case. It's not. They are extras. Hey, Ninja, come pick this up and move it. You, I need you to act more sassy, more sister girl. Come on, amp it up. More head spinning. Come on. You, black man, cry. Cry on cue like I told you. You better hurry up and do it. I got a bunch of Latinos just got here waiting to take your place. It'd be bad if I wasn't almost verbatim quoting Biden when I did that. I was channeling Biden's conversation with the black leaders a couple years ago. So anyway, I'm what you call a Democratic Party hater. And my mission is to help black people get out of a burning house. You may know it as the Democratic Party. That's my mission. Just so we're clear. But I'm not trying to get you to go run into the Republican house. I want us to get out the burning house first, bandage up. Then we can decide what we want to do after that. And maybe we'll start our own party. Maybe we'll go with the Republicans, or maybe we'll go with the Greens, or maybe we'll go with the Working Families Party. Maybe we'll go with the Truth and Justice Party. Or maybe we'll just become agnostic and we'll just go to every election. We'll just jump back and forth who's got the best deal. Like the Asians do, or like the Latinos do. Because that's what they do. Yeah. Yeah. No one complains when the Latinos do it, or when the Asians do it. I guess they do, but who cares? Who cares who complains? All right, guys, so check this out. We got some news for you today. The title is Anthony Mackie's Message, the Democrat Hypocrisy and Cuts on Cuts. And is it time to bench Elon? Yeah, it's going to be an interesting show tonight, man. It's going to be good, man. We good. We locked in. Yeah, we're very locked in right now, guys. Aaron, what's up, man? How you doing, fam? Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Mower Man. There it is. Mower Man's in the house. Thank you, man. I appreciate the compliment. Howard Dixon, HD. What's up, fam? You see a B-More in the house. I got to get that up, man. Get up for B-More, man. They're down the street. It's all good. What's up, fam? What's up, Saul? How you doing, man? It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, man. We're gonna have to do we're gonna have to hold a best names in the house. So look, guys, this is very dope what we got going on. Thank you for the update there. Who said that? We're at 50% of the likes already. Go ahead, Sharon Brown. We doing it. We cooking with gasoline, Sharon. I appreciate you. You know that? Sending me good stuff and then being here and everything and commenting and everything. Black Mamba's in the house. We got a new member off the break. I got a new member, man. Let me welcome this new member while it's right here in front of me, man. Let me do this. Welcome to Lucicha. Lucicha became a member of the YouTube channel. Thank you, Lucicha. I appreciate you. That's the love right there. Welcome to the Wolf Pack. for those who are interested in becoming members, go to jointimblack.com. I strongly stress it. Not because it's me, because we got good people. It ain't just me. It's the community, you know. It's being a part of something that's positive, but real as hell. We don't just say nice things and try to butter each other up. We really serious about, picking up this political education and standing on truth. And also filling our way through the nonsense of the propaganda. It's also important because if you don't know what's going on in the world, it can be stressful. If you're going by the news cycle and you listening to those newscasters, their job is to stress you out. That's their job. That's how they keep you on butts in the seat. I try to de-stress you by telling you the truth. So it's things you can weed through. So it's important, man. Go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the hardest hitting, I would say the hardest hitting, non-denominational, independent show on the internet. But you be the judge. You be the judge. The show is also brought to you by the Tim Black mug. This is the legacy edition of Politics for the People. Dishwasher safe, microwave safe, hater safe. And go to Tim Black mug and get it for $20 to your door. No shipping. I just sent out a batch today. So anybody who ordered them recently, in the last couple days, since last week, your mug should be in the mail. On its way. It's on its way. That's what's up. A little sip of water. I hope you don't mind there. You ready to get into the content? They say content is king. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. All right, Buck. All right, Black Mamba, let's go. Let's get him. 45 seconds on the clock. Survey says. Shout out to Richard Dawson. I'm going to start off with this story. I think this is a fitting way to start off the program tonight. Anthony Mackie, great actor. Anthony Mackie, great actor, one of the Gen Xers, man. I like Gen X folks, man, coming through, doing their thing, man. Do it while you got it. Spin it while you got it. Anthony Mackie, great actor. He was on the Pivot podcast. And he said some things that I think are more than worthy of a conversation. Check out Anthony Mackie, y'all.
In the business 24 years, right? And I've seen people go from nothing to the biggest stars in the world. I've seen people go from one role to winning Academy Awards and doing all this shit. And what I realized yesterday thinking about it, we're lying to our kids, dog. And I think that's a big problem in our community. We tell our kids that and this is fresh on my heart, like I literally just came to this conclusion last night. We tell our kids if they do right and they make the good grades and they go to the programs and they will become successful. If you work hard enough, your work will be paid off. And that's not true. Success is given. It's not earned. Because you can be the most brilliant. If one person don't tap you, each one of y'all, there were people who could hit harder, who could catch better, who could run faster, but somebody said, you're the one. And the other 50 behind you fell off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because of that, I don't know what that emotion or that feeling is the scary thing. Because I went to all the programs. I've done Broadway, I've done off-Broadway. I've been in the business 24 years. I've been in 2 Academy Award films. I've done independent films. I've done major motion pictures. Now I'm Captain America. So now what?
Wow. I got to catch that whole podcast.
Next.
Yo, go check the Pivot. Go check out the Pivot because what their brother's putting down there, that's some real conversation right there. And that's not something you know that I've heard people talk about a lot, right? That's why I wanted to bring it up. I want to try to give my opinion of it and also get your thoughts flowing a little bit on this topic because maybe Dr. Musa and I need to have a sit-down conversation about it. He's my go-to doctor in education. Talk to him. He's also a therapist, and he's been on the show. We had a great conversation about the Board of Education. Go see Dr. Musa at All Things Education. But back to what Anthony Mackie said, the great Anthony Mackie. He said, as great as you are, as great as you think you are, no matter how many achievements you get, you had to be chose. You know what, man? I'm living this. I'm living it, man. I know this from my experiences. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got people watching me, and God bless it, man. Thank you so much for subscribing to the show. Thank you to all the Patreon members that keep this show going. Hit the like button for all the people that support the show. I got several writings and books I'm going to be putting out. I'm going to write and use it all up, get it all out of my head and get it all out. Because what I've been doing the last 10 years has been remarkable. Remarkable. There is no one else in the country who has interviewed, talked to, platformed the people I platform, who is Black and not conservative. Because I haven't been watching the conservatives like that. No one in the country. Now, save for Don Lemon. I'm talking about independent, someone who's not on CNN or CBS. You can't have any connections to CNN, CBS, MSNBC. You can't have worked for any president or congressperson. I'm talking about out the desert. And nobody knows, well, a lot of people don't even know who I am. And I'm just going to give you the 10. 10. Dr. Cornell West has been on this show 12 times. Senator Nina Turner's been on this show. Donna Brazil's been on this show. Cory Bush, Representative Cory Bush was on this show. Representative Jamal Bowman was on this show. Representative Ro Khanna was on this show. Presidential candidate Marianne Williamson was on this show. Presidential candidate Jill Stein was on this show. Presidential candidate Andrew Yang was on this show. Who would want to use our last dollar for? Let's go Michael Moore, since he directed so many, because he's been on so many other big name programs. Gratuitous mention to the author, director, producer, the great Bill Duke. And throw him in as well. There's many more, I just can't think of them right now. And no one, but still, the doors of power or the doors of access were not open to a brother. Not at all. None. All those names, I couldn't even crack. I could not crack the code. And then I realized I wasn't able to crack the code because I'm who I am. Because of what I'm standing on. You know what I'm saying? I met April Ryan, Yamiche Alexander, Alcindor, other people in the media game, from notable, notable whatever. But what I'm trying to say is you can have the chops. You can have the skills. You can even have a track record. But if them people don't pick you, and them people don't say, hey, that one right there. If they don't do that, and worse, if you got people that say, oh, not that one. Oh, no, not that one. You could be great at what you do. You could work really hard. Put all your work into it, put all your passion into it. Accomplish things on your own. But if them people don't choose you, they'll pick somebody. This is what I had to learn the hard way, guys. And I know, and apply it to yourselves. Realize it ain't me. I haven't broken any laws or, stolen anybody's anything or owe anybody any money or hurt anybody or anything. It's been nothing like that. But I'll tell you, the word went out. The word went out on the brother. And if they say not that one, other people will say not that one. It doesn't matter. They will, I didn't understand it, man. I used to think the best people, because I hear a lot of this conversation about meritocracy going around. Black people, let me tell you something. I shouldn't have to tell you this. That don't apply to us like that. It don't apply. How can I put? I used to think meritocracy was a real thing. When I hear Elon Musk and these others, Tucker Carlson, I hear these people talking this nonsense, meritocracy. Man, it ain't meritocracy. It's nepotism, it's cronyism. It's if you won't shut up and do what they tell you to do, if you get out of line, and that right there, those things I just mentioned, that go for everybody. Black people don't realize white people get canceled all the time. It's just very quiet. It just don't work no more. And they don't get a platform to complain. Till now, social media has given people a platform to complain about being canceled. But before then, they just wouldn't get hired. That's why Weinstein was knocking them down in his office, because you just get blackballed, you just don't get seen again. I used to think it was meritocracy, and if you were really great, people had to hire you because you're great. But what is great? Damn, I love what Anthony Mackie said. Hope people are thinking about this. What does great mean? It's all about what they put a premium on. Case in point, Al Sharpton's show, the ratings blow. Not many more people watch Al Sharpton's show than watch this show. And I got no budget, no staff. But he's still on TV because people decided he was useful. Right? You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody watch this show. When they were complaining about Joy Reid, why nobody looked at Jen Psaki? Who's watching Jen Psaki? Who's watching Al Sharpton? Come on now. I mean, Joy's numbers were garbage, were getting garbage, but if they were as bad as Al Sharpton, man, she may have needed a wellness check. I mean, come on, let's be real. You got one day a week and it's on a Saturday. How many boomers are there that are getting up to watch this guy? Yeah, sometimes it's about, it ain't, so they'd have to put a premium on you doing your job well. And there ain't no premium for standing up for black people. That's what I do very well. Ain't no premium on that. I learned that from the progressives who don't even mention my name anymore. The blacks too. I mean, once you get marked, you are marked. That's it. So, and I had to believe it applies to everyone, because even when I was in a regular job, when I was a government contractor here in DC, I didn't think about it. I thought I was killing it. But then as I think back after what Mackie said, he's right. Even though I was doing well, I was able to take care of my family. It was only because somebody hired my ass. So at some point, someone said, okay, I got chose. Now, I have my own company now, so I choose me. I increase my odds of being chosen by choosing myself. But as long as people get to gatekeep, as long as there's a gatekeeper, you got to be chosen, no matter how good you are. So this whole meritocracy argument is just camouflage. It's just some agreed upon lie by people with money who get to prep their kids, send them to the best schools, have the best connections. We all know it's about connections. We know, we do know connections play such a hard, because if you can pick up the phone and plug someone, give somebody an opportunity, you can make a phone call to somebody you know, that is more than half the battle. That is like 90% of the battle, Johnson, 90%. Anybody who's been out of work understand what I'm talking about. You ever been out of work? I've been looking for a job. Can't find a job, look for 6 months. Who's been in a job market? Who has ever been out of work for 6 months and was really trying? If you were like me, at one point I was like that, and I'll tell you, that's much more work than working. Looking for a job is harder than having a job and going to work. It's less stressful, that's for damn sure. Particularly if you're working in the government in any capacity, even if you're a contractor. Contractors have a much harder job than government workers, but still, it's better than looking for a job. Ain't nothing more stressful, nothing harder to do than look for a job all day. Go in and interview. Wait on phone calls. Wait on emails. So, Anthony Mackie's got a great point, an excellent point. This whole meritocracy conversation leaves out so much. It leaves out so much. We up against it in so many ways. Folks, I don't want to make this all about me. You got your own story. You know how this applies to you. And you know, and if you know like I know. If you know like I know. But see, when you're young, and I think we need to be honest because the mental health aspect of it, right? Even if we can't change it, it's good to realize it and accept this is the battle. Because if not, I think too many people turn in on themselves, man. Too many people think it's something they're doing wrong. Too many people look at other people doing whatever they're doing, and you don't know the backstory to anything. You just assume you're not doing something right. And I'm here to tell you, no. In most cases, that's not the problem. It's not you. The person you up against might have 3 degrees. They try to code switch with you just like they code switch with white folks. I got stabbed in the back by somebody who had 3 degrees, all of them from Ivy League schools. Stabbed a brother in the back with a less than a two-year community college. Like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. Grew up privileged the whole 9. Couple sisters. Grew up privileged the whole 9. Would stab a brother who got it out the dirt. It's what it is. They can meet your whole family and say, how you doing, how you doing? And then stab the breadwinner in the back. Gut him. Gut him like a fish, leave him bleeding on the side of the road and keep it moving and then smile at everybody else and then blame him. Well, I had to stab him, girl. You know how he was on my nerves. But let me be real. Let me be real. Let me be meaningful, man. Let me say something that might help somebody. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, man. That's the worst thing you can do. And I've been slowly learning that because I'm very competitive. Them people, somebody getting it, and you're like, damn, how they doing it? You never know what they're doing to get it. You don't know who they know. You don't know who they know, who put a word in for them, who's working on their behalf behind the scenes. They never tell you. Whose family they come from. People don't have to tell you. They don't tell you shit. You'll be walking around thinking, what is wrong with us, baby? Why can't get it together? I'm tired of us living like that. You don't even know what's going on with these other people, man. You don't know what rabbits they got up their sleeve. They didn't grow up in a project, so they didn't grow up at the thrift store. They didn't grow up picking up junk off the side of the road, fixing it up, and trying to sell it out the back of the car. They didn't grow up like you. They ain't gonna tell you. They ain't gonna tell you they got a trust account. They ain't gonna tell you that their parents have never wanted for anything. Jasmine Crockett, perfect example. She went to a school that cost more money than my parents spent. Jasmine Crockett's parents spent more money on her to go to elementary school or to go to middle school for 1 year than my parents spent on my entire education. Jasmine Crockett went to a school that cost $35,000 a year, and that's not college. That was her Catholic school. You understand what I'm saying? You don't know that by listening to her talk. Do you know that by, you don't hear that? Do you hear that? I hear Cardi B. I hear she sound like Sexy Red sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? So never. So what I'm saying is, you will hear somebody tell you, and you'll think, okay, why is this person outperforming? Why are they killing it? Don't blame yourself. Please don't blame yourself. You don't know what's going on. Put your head down, do your thing. Make your connections. Build your work on whatever you're doing, but please, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They could be sleeping their way to the top. They could be a cousin of somebody. They ain't gonna tell you. I've known people who had a lot of money in the bank, had money coming out their ass, never told me. I found out much later, like, wow. I worked with a guy who I thought was Hispanic. His name was Joe. I worked with him for 4 years. One day he came to me and said, Tim, could you reset my password? Man, I forgot it. I went to reset his password for the first time. I looked into his account because I was a system administrator for this contract. And his name was Joe Jose. I was like, good to meet you, Jose. Because he looked Italian. He been passing the whole time. I ain't knocking him. He was passing the whole time. Everybody knew him as Joe. Badge Joe, everything Joe. Real name Jose. Most black people can't do that, you know. Black, they know when it comes in the door. People don't know you're gay. Let's just say something. Unless you're flaming, unless you're flamboyant. Like David Allen Greer, Men on Film. Marlon Wayans, they were doing Damon Wayans, my bad, Damon. Yeah, they want to compare blackness to all those other things, but it ain't. In closing, guys, Anthony Mackie dropped a truth bomb, and hopefully some people can use it. And it's not to bring you down. No, it's to add clarity. Add clarity to what you got to deal with. And because the worst thing, man, number one cause of divorce is economic problems. Sometimes I think it's not even problems. I think it's just economic aspirations that have been unfulfilled. And people blaming each other, blaming two poor people blaming each other because they don't have no money. Two people without money blaming each other because they don't know how to handle money, they don't have money, or they don't know how to get ahead with the little bit they have. And looking at other people who got whatever they have and not knowing at all how they got it, but assuming they're in the same league. When I say league, I don't mean anything personal. You can be a better person, right? You could be a better person. You could do for others. You can be kind, empathetic, supportive, generous, a great mother, a great father, a great friend, a great parent, a great daughter, a great son. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about morality. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. I could stay here too long. I think we need to communicate. That's all I'm doing is communicate. We'll talk about Elon and all this other stuff and other things that happen in a minute. Somebody need to hear this. Somebody's back is against the wall and they don't know why they can't. They're depressed, they're down. You're more than what your bank account is. And you're more than what you're more than your goals. And that thing you're doing while you're even going for those goals, that's living. And it matters how you do that. It matters how you live. Not just what you get, not just what you own, but the way you live your life. All right, y'all, that's it. That's all I got. I love y'all. All right. Sometimes the people that get picked are the people that will do the least for us collectively. And that's why they got picked. And that's the condition of them being picked. So sometimes the people that we look up to, look how great they are. The reason why they're in that position is because they're not going to help your ass. Not so great now, are they? Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, let's keep going. The next story. What we got next, man? I think I made a list. Okay, yeah, I did make the list. Here we go. I came across this one, man. I came across this. This is very interesting because there's a lot of conversation about the budget cuts, about the agency cuts, you know. And right now, Trump being demonized for this, man. I tell you, man, the media has not changed. They have been demonizing this guy for wanting to cut budgets and for trimming staff and doing all these things. And they're making him be like he's I don't know, an evil dictator out to destroy the country. That's the framing. Because it's Trump and it's real easy to say that. But look what I discovered. Now, one of these clips I played last week, I didn't know there was 4 others. As they're talking about Trump and his cuts and telling you he's the evil Hitler guy. Check this out.
So now what?
Yeah, let's get this.
Next on deck with Tim Black. Next on deck with Tim Black.
All right now. Go to the next thing then.
There is no question that there is an enormous amount of waste and fraud and abuse in this government. There is no question to my mind that Congress has not been vigilant enough in rooting out that waste and fraud to the tune of billions and billions of dollars. I would simply say that while it is absolutely appropriate to condemn the Congress, it is also important to note that we have an administration in this city, in Washington, D.C., and the function of an administration is to administer. And that means that when there is waste and fraud, you have an administration who should also be on top of that situation.
About a third of all of the spending that's...
Yeah, that was Bernie Sanders, by the way, guys. Bernie Sanders is on a tour right now, decrying how dare Trump make cuts. In 2008, when he was going to run against Obama, he changed his mind. Actually, he was going to run against Obama in 2012 because he didn't like what Obama was doing. I wish he would have ran. But in 2008, your boy Bernie Sanders was complaining about, what was it, fraud, waste, corruption in the federal government. Here goes Chuck Schumer doing the same thing, but this time it's about health care.
Be on top of that situation.
About a third of all of the spending that's done in Medicare and Medicaid, I would imagine a lot of it's in the private sector as well, doesn't go to really good health care, goes to other things. And the real nub of this is, how do we wring that waste out, that fraud, abuse, duplication, without interfering with the good care that we want every person on Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance to get? The average citizen knows this happens. How many times when you look at your medical bill, you've undergone a minor procedure, and you see Dr. Smith, $4,000, and you sort of vaguely remember he just waved and poked his head in the door? If we're going to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare, it does mean we're going to cut some of that out. And when I hear my friend Dave Camp say, you cannot cut money out of Medicare, well, we don't want to cut the good stuff that you point out. or prevent, add the prevention. But if we're going to, if what Senator Coburn says, that 1/3 of Medicare doesn't go to patient care, you can't just get up there and say, we don't want to cut anything out of Medicare. We want to cut the bad stuff and keep the good stuff. And I think that's where we can find common ground on some of the things you've mentioned, some of the things that are in our bill. And I hope at least in this area we can move forward that way, because frankly, the Republican Party has always stood for getting rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse in the system. In '97, it was the centerpiece of your program. And all of a sudden this year we're hearing, don't do any of that. That's something that I think we can come together on. I thank you.
Further, Mr. President.
Yeah. Chuck Schumer and Obama. Yeah, talking about cuts. Talking about how much does not go to actually helping people. It's overhead, goes in people's pockets, goes to marketing, trips, expenses, administrative, I don't know, not CEOs, but presidents and whoever's running whatever they call it. Yeah. You think that this never happened. You think that it's just happening now. Here goes Bernie again. He's got all types of, he was serious, man. He's got PowerPoint presentation. What is this?
And I will not deny for 1 second that there is waste and fraud and bureaucracy in almost every government program out there.
God, man, I'm starting to feel like, maybe they've been gaslighting us a little bit about this, about these crackdowns that's going on right now. Seems like maybe they've been a little bit more diabolical than I thought they could be. Maybe it appears that the Democrats have not been totally honest with us about their feelings about cutting things and trimming the budget and trimming these organizations, these agencies. I mean, that could be wrong. I mean, my hearing ain't the best. Let's see. I could be wrong, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think we got to take a hard look at them all. And I believe that in addition to the Pentagon, we can save hundreds of billions of dollars a year by eliminating unnecessary bureaucracy.
Wow, man. Hundreds of billions of dollars to eliminate bureaucracy. Do you realize how many people I've had who act as if this never happened? I guess maybe they didn't know, right? Apologize to me, because you ain't talking to Bernie. You ain't calling them sellouts and against the people and don't love kids and veterans and poor people, and as if I'm writing the legislation or writing the executive orders or doing anything. I'm just reporting on it. But I just feel like if Americans got to watch budgets and mind their money and do their best to balance and keep things going, because anybody coming to save us, why did the government get to take our money and be all free-willing? Party like it's 1999 on our dime. I don't understand it.
Mr. President, the ideas that I've enumerated and some that I have not, but which will become part of the record,
are untouched.
Here we go. Let's go to Nancy. We've heard Bernie. So Bernie was down, but Bernie, he tries to be
easily reduce the deficit.
Bernie tries to be an outsider sometimes. So let's go to those Democrats that are blue, vote blue anywho, blue dog specials. Let's see if they thought differently.
By well over $4 trillion over the next decade, if not, in fact, much more.
We cannot keep our promises on Medicare. We simply must make the cuts in waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare so that the benefits and the premiums are untouched. We owe it to our seniors. We owe it to our country.
This report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
Change the personnel rules means get rid of people. That's what that means.
I've read it, and where it says the president should, the president will.
Among the 800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
From the day I took office, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out.
What? And look, hold on a second, guys. This looks an awful lot like Doge. It's even got the same names. Cutting waste and promoting efficiency. What's in the Doge's Department of Government Efficiency? Yeah. They're all using the same language, guys. Yeah, I know, but it's evil Hitler doing it now. It's Hitler. He's basically a Nazi. He's a fascist, wanting to cut stuff. I bet you no one called Obama a fascist. I wonder if Van Lathan called Obama a fascist. I wonder if Bakari Sellers called Nancy Pelosi a fascist. Got a feeling they didn't.
We would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. We thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. A lot of the action is in Congress and legislative, but in the meantime, we don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending that's out there. We haven't seen as much action out of Congress as we'd like, and that's why we launched on our own initiative the campaign Cut Waste. And we're going to keep on finding every possible way that we can do that, even if Congress is not acting. There you go.
There you go, cutting waste with his pen, just like Trump doing. In fact, guys, it looks like to me, Trump stole their style. I tell people Trump used to be a Democrat. He was a Democrat for most of his life. He was a Democrat ever since he was able to be, politically active up until maybe 10 years ago. They say 10, 12 years ago? I think he became an independent first. I don't know. That's something else, man. So no wonder why he's doing the same stuff they're doing, that they wanted to do or that they tried to implement. I keep telling people, man, a lot of what's happening, and I noticed this during Trump's administration, there were a lot of things that Trump did that Biden never rolled back. He didn't roll back everything. Because a lot of stuff that Trump's done is kind of like stuff Democrats do. People say there's a uniparty, like there's one party. That's what they're talking about. It's just there are two medias. Corporate media, and then independent media. And if you watch corporate media, you'll never find out what the Democrats are doing wrong until it's financially viable for it to come out. And that takes a whole lot. It takes a whole lot for that to happen. That it's because they don't need money like you think they do. Nah, they want power more than they want money. Because power brings more money. That's the long game. I'm not saying that Trump is making every move is exactly like it should be. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is people talk like what he's doing is like seeing Bigfoot, at the local pizza shop, smoking a blunt, and eating a slice. Or, in line at a local, Jamaican spot, getting some oxtails, some Jamaican oxtails. Nah, it ain't, that's not nah. Bigfoot's not there. It's not like you just saw Tupac and Biggie, having a rap freestyle battle. Right? Nah. It's what he's doing is just regular stuff, man, really. Some of it. I would say that the way it's covered in the manner in which he goes at things is different. But I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I wonder if anybody got any apologies from me. These people that have been, who have been really pestering me, have been really annoying the hell out of a brother, if I allowed them to. I just laugh at them for real. But they should, out of respect, they should apologize. I mean, because the people that they voted for were talking about the same thing. Because I know those people that were talking who've been in my ear have voted for Obama. And supported Nancy Pelosi because they supported the Democrats. You can't tell me you don't support Nancy Pelosi if you support the Democratic Party. You can't tell me that shit. She's been a staple in the party for the last 30 years. So you can't do that. And if you voted for Biden, that was his VP under those cuts. So I mean, I'm not gonna hold my breath waiting on you to do the right thing. Now that we both know that your guys was, all about that life. But it would be nice. Be nice to be surprised. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Hit the like button if that makes some sense, y'all. Yeah, man. Yeah, Democrats be acting like Republicans. They be acting like each other. It's just all about the reporter, man. It's all about how they report it in the media. The media, the game was crucial. All right, next. Oh man, they're gonna get into U.S. education debate. Let's talk education, y'all. I think that's where we're at. I guess we're gonna find out together. This is fun.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Tonight, something I'm sure none of you have ever seen before. This is the president using the bully pulpit not to sell his agenda, but to sell cars.
Yeah, this is a good one, man. They're gonna complain about Democrats are making a big deal about the Elon Musk thing, and we're gonna talk about Elon Musk. And I'm not an Elon Musk supporter. The thing I want to point out is hypocrisy. Because that's my job. My job is to talk about the stuff they ain't talking about right. And to look at what the Democrats are doing, look at what liberal media is talking about, and inform you where they just gaslighting you. This is the biggest gaslighting. In fact, Abby Phillips, she fell and bumped her head on this segment. Yeah, this is bad for her. This made her look like she was totally unprepared. I don't know who gave her the sheet or who's working with her. I know she's got a staff at CNN. She ain't independent. Somebody's ass got roasted after this segment because the clinic that Scott Jennings puts on embarrasses the hell out of Abby. I mean, she looked like she need to go back to school. Go back to research school. Check it out.
It's hardly the first time we've had cars on the South Lawn. Man, here's a video of Joe Biden driving a Jeep Rubicon.
Tonight, something I'm sure none of you have ever seen before. This is the president using the bully pulpit not to sell his agenda, but to sell cars.
It's hardly the first time we've had cars on the South Lawn. Man, here's a video of Joe Biden driving a Jeep Rubicon around the South Lawn. I mean, it's pretty common.
And President Trump did it before in his first term as well.
It's pretty common for the President of the United States to boost American industries, American-made products, and companies that are, employing Americans. It's extremely common. He obviously has a close relationship with Elon, who, by the way, is, I think, unfairly under attack. And this company is unfairly under attack. You have these insane people all over the country chasing people down in their Teslas in New York City. I had a friend who tried to trade his Tesla in New York the other day, and there were protesters screaming at his children.
Look,
these people are unhinged,
there is some
and they deserve support from the government.
But let's be clear. Let's not skirt over the fact that Elon Musk spent $250 million to elect Donald Trump.
So you're against an American company?
No, that's not.
You don't want the government to support this company?
It doesn't look bad at a time when Americans are struggling.
Right.
To have the president hawking cars for the richest guy in the world because his political
Does it
endeavors.
look bad for the president to support an American company that employs thousands of American workers?
No,
Yes.
no,
I don't think it looks bad.
No, he's supporting Elon Musk.
Who do you think builds the cars, brother?
Elon Musk builds the cars?
No, the workers of the United States of America, where they build the. I mean, they're
what I'm
building
telling you
cars
right now is the way I look
He's
at
not
that
the only person that
is
works there.
I look,
Domestic terror charges for people who were.
Why are they singling out Teslas? I mean, why? Because Elon Musk supports Donald Trump. These people are chasing Tesla owners. They might chase you someday.
So you agree on
you
agree on the domestic terror?
purchased in 2019.
I don't know. Look, Elon Musk currently holds a position of trust in our government. He is a top advisor to the President of the United States. And there's clearly a bunch of people out there who are targeting him and his products specifically. If that's not terrorism, I'm not sure what is. They are terrorizing people who bought an Elon Musk product.
I think I should.
Yeah, I want to go in there. I went and looked up the Rubicon commercial. Here's the Rubicon commercial. And Abby, I know she didn't know about this. Because this right here, folks, this is what you call advertising. And to me, that's what this is. And, you know, was Rubicon built in America? Is this American built? I don't know. Maybe it was. But it's all because they can't stand Elon that they're making a big deal out of it. I mean, that's what you think. When you see a Tesla, you think Elon. So if you hate Elon, you know, you hate Trump doing that. But it employs Americans. Elon been an American citizen for the last 15, 20 years. People act like he's still, you know, a South African citizen. And he's the richest guy in the world. And his companies are here. He's got companies here. So, yeah, it's all politics. Biden driving on the front lawn, man. Look, man, I tell people a lot of time when they're pushing back on Trump, I say most of what Trump does is something Democrats already did. I'm just keeping it a buck, man. I'm just keeping it real. You know, it's just that you didn't pay attention to it. No one demonized it until it was Trump. That's why you think he's the only one who did it. But it's being done. It was being done the whole time. It's not new. When Trump was trying to save the auto companies, there was somebody in the auto companies that helped. You know, more than just the regular standard employees who worked the line or who did work, non-management staff. It helped people at the top too, who probably made a lot of money, but no one complained. No one said, "Oh my God, what are you doing helping these CEOs of the big three auto companies?" Now you were glad he did it because it was keeping Americans working. So it has to be the hate. It's not just Trump. It's the hate of Elon. Yeah. And it's a nothing burger, man. It's not, it's not a nefarious, bad dealing, dirty dealing behind your back. I mean, it's right in front. It's hey. And also, I guess Trump, and I know this cuts against the grain because people don't like to say that, but maybe he feels a little bit responsible because, Elon is doing Trump's bidding. I don't know why people think that Elon is doing Elon's bidding. Elon is doing what Trump wanted him to do. Can we admit that Elon is not making these decisions by himself? That Trump is responsible for anything that Elon does when he finds stuff and what gets done about, what's found. Like Trump put him on the job. So maybe now that people are torching his cars, trying to destroy his companies, maybe Trump feels a little responsible for it. Because if he wasn't rocking with Trump, if he hadn't helped Trump, if he hadn't donated to Trump, if he hasn't been assisting Trump, then people probably wouldn't hate him as much. Elon got contracts under Obama, Biden, and Trump. So once upon a time, they liked him. It's when he started helping Trump that he became hated. Just like most other people. Just like most other people that Democrats hate. It wasn't until they supported somebody that was not the person the Democrats wanted them to support. It doesn't even have to be Trump. It could be Jill Stein or Dr. Cornel West, Marianne Williamson, Claudia De La Cruz. You know, that dude no one knew. Something Phillips. Dean Phillips, I think his name was. It could be anybody other than if you supported Bernie. There are people that have been ostracized out of job opportunities because they work with Bernie. I know Simone Sanders had to do something. She did something to prove that she wasn't a Bernieite. She did something to get back on right footing. That's how she got to work with Joe Biden. She had to do something. I tend to think she was working like to help Biden, like kind of, you know, because why else would they do it? I mean, I know other people who work for Bernie who didn't get any jobs after that. At least not with the Democrats. Anyway, it is what it is, guys. I'm not saying Elon's a great guy. Some of his pot stirring, some of the things he puts on, he calls it pot stirring, edgelord. I don't even know these terms. I'm Gen X, man. I'm from Maryland, D.C. I don't know what edgelord means. I know what an asshole is, though. I don't know what an edgelord is. Sounds like somebody's being an ass on purpose. But I gotta say, our media is dangerous, man. They tell you who to hate. And then if you don't hate them, they make other people hate you. It's diabolical, man. It's a tough room. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Let's move on to the next thing. I'm Tim Black, guys. Hit subscribe or hit like. I'm looking to see if we can get more people on the team, man. We need some more Tim Black Wolfpack members in the house. And by the way, you know, we got some new merch going on, guys. So one of the ways people help support the show and people do is if we try to get people to promote via merchandise. We got merch and let's see what we got here, man. Did that thing upload? It did. You know the deal. Independent Black media stays unapologetic, raw, and real. Now you can wear the movement. From the Tim Black Wolfpack to the Cornbread Collection. We got gear for the real ones. For men, women, even the little ones. No weak threads, no weak messages. Rep the truth. Rep the movement. Hit up TimBlackPauls.com and grab yours today. Because cornbread ain't free. Wolfpack. Give it up for that, man. I think it's funny. I like it. I think it's funny. That's my new line. Cornbread ain't free. Yeah, guys, keep your cornbread. Go to TimBlackPauls.com and pick up some merch. Get a t-shirt or a button or something or apron. Somebody bought an apron because I got these cornbread. Don't nobody take your cornbread joints. And I think that's a cool chef's apron. All right, guys. I got more content. Hit the like button. I appreciate y'all. What's next on the itinerary? Man, I'm telling
you. Next on deck with Tim Black.
But Biden did it too.
Hey, I'm Abby Phillip in New York. Let's get right to what America's talking about. No reservations. Tonight, the president is saying that he is unconcerned and unbothered by the market meltdown, even as you are trying desperately not to look at your 401k right at this very moment.
Mr. President, when you look at the market selling off, that didn't concern you, and where do you see it going?
Doesn't concern me. I think some people are going to make great deals by buying stocks and bonds and all the things they're buying. I think we're going to have an economy that's a real economy, not a fake economy.
Do you and your tariff policies right now bear any responsibility for the turmoil we're seeing this week?
Biden gave us a horrible economy. He gave us horrible inflation. And I think the market was going to go very, very bad.
That is a very different story than the one being told by investors or by economists or Canadians.
I just feel when it's at a fever pitch and we see the market tumbling over $4 trillion, inflation happening, uncertainty and consumer confidence is down. It's not about backing down. It's about sitting around the table and negotiating a fair deal, because right now, no one likes uncertainty.
Kevin, Trump's got your people very mad up there in Canada. This back and forth with Canada seems to be leading to the place that he could have gotten if he had just said, hey, Canada, let's sit down and renegotiate USMCA 3 weeks ago without, dropping the stock market 10%.
Abby, you've been watching and listening to Trump for 12 years. Do you think he's going to change? You have to distinguish between the noise and the signal. The signal that Trump's put out multiple times is what an incredible economic union could be formed if we eradicated tariffs and joined the two economies, not buying the country and just making Canadians Americans. Sovereignty's off the table.
I don't want to rewrite the words that Trump himself has said out of his own mouth. He said two things. He believes in an economy that is powered by tariffs. He believes in tariffs, not that it's a negotiating tool. He wants the tariffs because he wants the money. The second thing that he said is that, who knows if this is real, but he keeps repeating it. He wants Canada to be the 51st state. So why are you asking us to ignore what Trump is saying?
Because you've been watching Trump for 12 years. If you can't
and I don't ignore what he says anymore because he tends to do the things that he says.
You got to listen. You got to listen for the signal outside of the noise. He's bombastic. He says outrageous things. But from all that comes an interesting opportunity. In Canada, you've got United States of America, the largest consumer market on earth, and Canada, the richest country on earth with everything everybody needs every day. You don't have to buy the country, and they're not selling their sovereignty, but if you get an economic union with no tariffs and maybe a common currency and maybe a common passport and maybe something that could be done around making sure that everything is equalized, China will never catch up. And I think that's the opportunity. So even 3 hours ago, before I got here, Ford, who was talking about cutting off electricity, changed his mind. We're in a narrative of negotiation.
Well, I think both sides backed down and they went to the negotiating table, which is, frankly, where they should have been in the first place.
It's kumbaya.
But it's not. It's the problem with that is one. I mean, when I have my good Republican friends at the table, the first thing they like to do is talk about the Biden economy, and I have to remember that if we had a sharp decline in the stock market under Joe Biden, then their hair would be on fire. It would be on Fox News 24/7. They would come in here and tell us that Joe Biden was asleep at the wheel. That's first. The second thing is, while Donald Trump has this uncertainty, and it's not just the uncertainty of the Trump administration, it's also the uncertainty of whether or not you're going to pass a CR, which Mike Johnson was able to do today. It's the uncertainty of what they're going to do next with tariffs, et cetera. But who gets lost in that? It's those people who have 401ks. It's those people who have retirements. I mean, it's those people who have money in the market to save for a rainy day. And so I got a great deal of respect for you. You know more about money than most. But to say that those people aren't being caught up in that whirlwind is just, I mean, that is a fact. While we're gaming out what Donald Trump says, the fact is the market lost his ass and it's Donald Trump's fault.
You think?
Yeah, man, look, I got to say this and take it for what it's worth. If you got somebody who's been in office for 40 days, 45 days, you got to give them some time. You got to give them some time. Yeah. You can't just say, hey, you came in, what's up? This ain't basketball. You throw the ball to LeBron or Steph or Kobe. This is the United States of America's government. So, but if it turns out that Trump has tanked our economy, not a blip on the radar. Now, what happens one day or even 2 days? Hell, even a week. I'm talking about tanks our economy. Then I'll be down to crucify him and go in on him because just like you, I live here. And all the bets go off. Everybody should go off when the money's wrong. So I don't care who you are. Problem is, when the money was wrong in the body, y'all shut the hell up the entire time. I never heard Bakari say anything about the economy under Biden. Not once. Not a tweet. not a post on X, not a Facebook post, not an Instagram, not on any interview, not nowhere did I ever hear him criticize the Biden economy. So it's all politics, man. It's all it is. If you were quiet through the turmoil of the last 4 years when things are up and down and up and down and down and down and a little bit up and then down, like, dude, then how can anyone ever take that seriously? Once again, if Trump does a horrible job at this, we will all come at him. But they're just doing it gratuitously because they ain't got nothing else to talk about. That's all they got to say at the moment. And another thing, Trump does not get to forever bring up Biden. On the other side, he don't get to bring up Biden's economy much longer. But he gets more than a month or two. He gets 6 months because it's still, I mean, you know, America was in a long-term relationship with Joe Biden. And she still got him on the mind. You know, she's still thinking about him. You know what I'm saying? So it's still, it takes a while to get over your ex. So America's got to get over its ex. And that takes at least 6 months. You know, it was a 4-year-long relationship, you know. And he wasn't good at putting the lid down on the toilet. He went to the bathroom more times than she did. And he wasn't a good cook. And he talked with his hands sometimes. And she is scarred, okay? She's scarred. She's been through a lot. And so let's give her a minute, you know, to kind of come out of this. Now, if Trump turns out to be, we're going to see, unless your friends who've been in the bushes on the grassy knoll do a better job next time. We got another 3 years and 9 months and 10 months to go. And that'll be more than enough time to find out. But in the media, again, they got to have something to talk about today. And this is something to talk about.
The market's going to go down forever?
Well, no, the markets go down and up.
Yeah, but last time we were here,
So you're saying that people have 401ks. You're saying they're having a meltdown. I mean, the market will go up and down, and it will go up. And over time, the United States stock market has done quite well. So, I mean, the president's been acknowledging he's expecting some short-term turbulence in the market, but I wouldn't measure the health of the stock market over a short period of time.
I'm actually measuring the health of the economy, especially over the last 3 or 4 weeks since he's been there.
Well, you brought up 401ks. I just wanted to answer that.
But no, and I'm with you. But I can also, I mean, that is a very true sentiment. And actually, there are going to be a lot of people who text me tomorrow and be like, there ain't enough people who have money in the stock market, so it's not an issue that trickles down. So that could be another issue as well. But what I am saying is that the uncertainty, this tariff this morning by the afternoon is off. That is not a way to govern.
Well, I mean, and to the points you guys are talking about, that is directly controlled by the president. So the market will be up, the market will be down, but the president and the way he's going about the tariffs, he's directly influencing the way the market is moving. So the question is not whether or not the market will stay up or down, but whether or not Donald Trump will get consistent on tariffs and his economic plan soon so that people don't have this uncertainty.
I also think I'm looking at this from a different perspective for people who actually don't even have 401ks. There's a whole constituency of people who don't have retirement plans, don't have disposable income to buy stocks when they are down because they are literally living paycheck to paycheck. And many of those individuals voted for Donald Trump. And I don't think you're right, man. What the president is saying is causing instability in the market. Now, last week we were at this table and the market had dipped again, or before, twice last week. And it was like, well, it's one day. Now we're like 3 or 4 days in because of the language. So I think there are some people who will benefit from probably people like Elon Musk, probably people who have.
Probably like Congress. We're going to keep it real. Let's keep it real for a second, guys, because she's right there, but she'll never admit it. And that's why we watch independent media. You know what's going to benefit? All of the Democratic Congress, all the Republicans in Congress, all of them, all these rich CEOs, all these people are going to benefit. For all these things Bakari's saying, and Trump said it. He said, well, you know, some people are going to take advantage of this. They're going to take advantage of it. And it's going to go back. He said it in the press conference, saying it next to Elon, that some people are going to take advantage of it. This is not the end of days. And it ain't over. So they're talking all this stuff. And it's like I said, man, the news just tries to gaslight people. Now would be a horrible time if you had stock to sell it. Now would be a horrible time because it's down, right? So you either wait till it's not down, you just don't sell today. Duh. Like, who needs that advice? Like, I'm not a financial planner. I'm just guessing. So don't take advice from me. I'm just saying. But yeah, there are a lot of people going to benefit from a fluctuating market right now. And a lot of those people are in Congress, Ashley. Hell, some of those people are sitting around that damn table. Let's keep that honest. You guys. Yeah. Things that make you go, All right, guys. Let me know what you think about this segment. Should we be concerned? Should you not be concerned? At what point is concern? At one point is being concerned reasonable? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think right now, you can be concerned if you're hurting. Hell, if things are tight. But for a lot of us, they've been tight. For a lot of us, it's been tight. But you know when it's getting tight on Wall Street, because that's when you get the noise. Because Black America, we've been going through hell for a year straight, and you won't get a report on it. No one will say a damn thing. But let Wall Street rich people, let the people that play Wall Street get a little blip on the radar. And it's all of a sudden, people running around with their heads on fire. It's a different world than where you come from. Man. All right, guys, I'm going to move on from this topic. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But Ants, I'd like to know what you think. Are you worried now? Or can you hang in there and we be worried? There'll be more time to worry later. That's all I'm saying. Or maybe not. All right. Next. Where are we, Johnson? Where are we here?
The luxury to not just have a
purchasing for schools, and USDA cancels $1 billion in local food purchasing for schools.
How you every day and have done for 100 years in private equity and
underperforming in schools right now?
Bad educators.
They're hungry.
Done it.
They get into the, I thought it was a separate clip where they got into the whole education thing. Let me see for a second, guys. So tight.
But that's why you cut 20% more. I think Elon's not cutting enough. Cut 20% enough.
But that program is also one that benefits not just the recipients, but also the farmers that are there able to purchase from. That's the main reason it's a DO, a Department of Agriculture.
This issue is not going to go away because it's very contentious. But when you cut in any organization, government or private, it's very demoralizing. It's traumatic, and it gets lots of bad press, as we're doing right now. But that's why you cut 20% more. I think Elon's not cutting enough. Cut 20% more now. Get your spreadsheet out. These are the names. Whack everybody, and then 20% more, as we do in the private sector every day and have done for 100 years in private equity, and hire back when the organization gels. That way, the demoralization only happens once. You don't want to cut multiple times. More whacking.
Let me just, can I explain to you that this is when running.
You don't need to explain to me. I know how it works.
But no, you don't, because
actually I do. I've done it multiple times.
But yeah, that's in the private sector, and you cannot run.
This is worse than private sector.
You cannot run everyday government the same way you run the
fat dripping with waste government.
I'm not talking about fat dripping with waste government.
What do we have?
Have I told you in the South right now in red states? Do you know the number one cause?
What does this have to do with red or blue?
Can I finish my question? Do you know the number one cause for children underperforming in schools right now?
Bad educators.
They're hungry. Let
my whole career was in education.
That's my point of bringing that up to you.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you had things like the free and reduced lunch program. You had the summer lunch program. Yes. You had programs that were expanded so kids could actually. So I'm not arguing with you about your expertise in the private sector, but what I am saying is that a 20% cut or whack, you're cutting from Allendale Fairfax High School and Birmingham High School. schools.
Okay.
You're cutting from places that really matter.
You want to talk about high schools in America? That's what I did for 14 years.
I also was a high school teacher.
Let me just say, we have a whole discussion coming about schools.
Yes.
But one thing, I want to let you in, Ashley, but I just want you to consider the Department of Agriculture. There was a great story this week about how the Department of Agriculture is a great place to cut from because the biggest beneficiary of a lot of their programs and grants are huge, mega corporate farms that don't need it. But you don't get the headlines about those guys. Why? And it's partly because it's harder to cut those things, and Doge isn't doing it.
You know, Doge will get around to everything eventually. That's the whole point. Doge is so contentious right now because of what they're doing.
Why don't they start with the big stuff as opposed to food for kids in schools?
Look, you can criticize where it goes first. They're going to focus their laser on cutting into every sector, and it's going to keep going, and it's going to remain contentious.
I just feel like the human impact of this is always missed in these stories. I remember growing up going to the Boys and Girls Club every day after school, and it was free lunches or free after school meals that local programs provided, that many of the kids in those programs, that was their dinner. If they did not eat there, they would not eat when they went home because they lived in low-income schools. I remember teaching at Boys and Girls High School where my students would come in early to get breakfast so that they could perform at grade level and be good students. Is the school system perfect? I know we're going to talk about it, but it was feeding kids early in the morning so they could come and pay attention because they wouldn't get it at home, and then giving free or reduced lunches. I know that when children are born, and WIC, women, infants, and children, the developmental phase of children, if they do not get proper nutrition when they're from utero to 5 years old, the likelihood that when they actually get into the schools, they can perform at grade level. This is a systemic cycle. And so to start, you could start with the big manufacturers, but you're not. You could start at the Pentagon, but you start with kids. That is a direct impact that affects Republicans and Democrats. And I don't think that's what people wanted.
All right, up next for us, a surreal scene playing out. Trump, the car salesman with Elon Musk at the White House. And
Damn. Well, you know what, guys? They're going to talk more about education. That's a compelling argument they're making. But the thing about the cuts that gets me, guys, and maybe it's just me, but I'm trying to understand when they make the cuts, the agencies are deciding where the cuts go, right? Why is it always the assumption that the cuts are going to be directly to the children? You know, like if you got an agency and its job is education, there are about 100 other line items of expenses that happen, besides children. You know what I'm saying? Besides the actual kids. And I know that's not the education piece. I think they're talking about the Department of Agriculture, and they're talking about the farms being cut. Instead, they're cutting school lunches. I understand the point. I get the point. Yeah, I think I would be critical of that. But because I know it's CNN, and I know that I'm pretty sure the article that Abby is referring to was from a center-left friend of the Democrats type of publication. She didn't name it, but I got a feeling it was. So yeah, you got to kind of be careful where you get your information, because the narrative of the information typically is going to be anti-Trump. So you gotta get it there, but then you gotta go somewhere else and then look at that and compare the two. And yeah. But cutting the kids is always tough. And at this moment, at this time, yeah, I'd say we gotta take a look, because if that's the case, I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with that choice. All right, let's keep going, guys. This is interesting. I don't know where we're at, but
then a big revelation comes out about Musk as well.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to the next. I got more content, guys. Remember, hit the like button if you like the content so far. Next segment, I think I'm going to be able to tell you something I made a mistake on, or something I need to fact check. I went and fact checked it, and now I got a different take on it. And that's how we're going to start the next segment. So, yeah, let's get into that. It is what it is. Well, I'm saying like I got to go somewhere. I'm not literally going anywhere. So I'll just tell you what it is. Okay, so last week I was covering, we covered the cancer issue with the NIH. So cancer research, the funding goes through the NIH. And people are like, well, you know, Trump had the young boy DJ Daniel at his State of the Union address where he gave him, he was awarded an honorary Secret Service badge. And he was become a member of the Secret Service. And, you know, he's been fighting for his life as a cancer patient since he was 5. And they did this for this young man. And people were saying, well, you know, and you know, the Democrats in Congress did not clap for him when he was applauded. And neither did they clap for many other or anybody else did Trump, even from people that were freed from Russian prisons and people who survived XYZ that were there as guests of Trump. You know, they didn't clap for that either. But it was particularly, you know, troublesome, right? Optically, it was troublesome to some of us, you know, who are not all into Democrat versus Republicans and picking sides that way. It was kind of troublesome that the Democratic Party would not clap for or acknowledge, you know, DJ Daniel. And then I had some people that were even roasting him because he's, you know, because he is a fan of the cops, you know, but be that as it may. Some of the criticism I got was that people were saying that Trump only had that boy up there because Trump had tried to, you know, that Trump was cutting cancer research. That's what they were saying. They were saying, oh, Tim, you don't get it. Trump's cutting cancer research. That's why he did it, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, well, you know, he's cutting budgets. Is he specifically cutting cancer research? None of those people really got back to me about the specificness, I don't even know if that's a word, of what the cuts were, but I do know he was cutting NIH. Here's the thing, guys. Back in Trump's first term, he did attempt to cut cancer research by a certain percentage. I don't know what it was. And there was an uproar about it, and it did not pass. And so it was not cut. In fact, it was increased. But the fact remains, he did try to cut it. He tried to cut a number of things. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to go get the cancer kids. I read multiple sources, and from what I surmised from my research, there's a feeling amongst some that the research that's done on the government side for cancer research is also duplicated in the private sector. So it's like, why are we doing the same thing and spending more money to do the same tests that are already being done by colleges, for instance? Or why are we paying colleges to do this when there's also this other group that's doing it? One of the rationales is that, hey guys, you know, the government has the ability to do research on cancers that are less known. And private industry, being totally for profit, will basically ignore those lesser known cancers because, well, it's not a lot of money in the outcome, you know, in the solution. Yeah, you would think, they're doing it for the people, but, you know, we got to remember it's always a business. Our healthcare is a business. So a lot of the research is done on the types of research that they're going to have high donors and they're going to make the most money from. So that's always the issue. Now, remember, I'm just getting educated on this. I'm not in the government. Well, I'm not in the healthcare field. This is based on what I read. And every time you read something, there's always going to be something else that contradicts it. But technically, Trump did issue those cuts, even though they didn't happen. He did propose them. And there was pushback. He was overruled, and it didn't happen. Also, and at Trump, in the new budget by the Republicans, they are calling for more cuts. You know, now we just heard the Democrats, Obama, Schumer, Pelosi, Bernie, all talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. And some say only 30% of the budget even goes to the thing that they're supposed to be there to do. 30% of the budget. Only 30% of the budget goes to the thing they say they're doing. So even if you got cancer research, that's the thing they're doing, but only 30% of the money goes to it because we got overhead, we got salaries, we got equipment, we got marketing, investment, administrative, we got conventions and outings and travel and per diem, whatever. We got all these other expenses that are a part of the budget. So I stand on that part because that's true. That's real. And if it's your family budget, like I stated last week, if you're used to working with $3,000 a month for your family and you find out you got to work with $2,500, if you care about your family, if your rent is $1,500 or $1,800, you're going to pay that first. Well, I would hope that the cancer research company or the cancer research agencies or those funded by the federal government would take care of the kids first and take care of their fucking selves last or cancel out their damn conventions. I know it's crazy because you want to demonize people, but I think it's only like reasonable. So either Trump's the worst, he's Satan, or maybe these people that when given options in their budget what to cut, maybe they're Satan if they say, well, we're going to cut the kids instead of cutting our own salaries or cutting our own travel or operating with less overhead people or whatever, or fly coach instead of flying first class, business class. You know, I know it's crazy, but maybe they're also not as saintly as you would like to pretend. Because if you got to decide, if you got a budget cut, that you're going to cut the services of the veterans, the sick people, you're going to cut their treatment and their benefits and not cut the extra whatever other line items that you could cut. We got more of a problem than just this one guy. We got a problem with all those organizations, all those agencies that would operate so heinously. So yeah, I'll leave it there. But I stand corrected because I didn't know he tried to cut it to that degree because I think it was a specific cut. Even though my point is taken and I just explained my point and I'm passionate about it, as someone who's had to tighten my damn belt here in this business that I'm doing, when there was a mass exodus, when I started, you know, I always cover the black issues, but when I went like this, like I go rogue now, I call out the LGBTQ, I call out DEI, I call out the over-indexing concern with fucking Ukraine and Israel. You know, when I decided, I'm also going to call out, you know, the fact that DEI ain't for us and a bunch of other shit that I went extra hard in the paint, all of a sudden a lot of my support dried up. So I know a little something about having to prioritize in one's budget what's important. And no, I didn't have to cut my kids. Like I didn't sell my kids. In fact, I got more kids. We increased the number of kids that we take care of, even with the cut budget. But I know I love my kids, so maybe that's the reason why it's different. When my budget gets cut, I'm able to somehow, you know, as opposed to the government don't love you. So anyway, that's it. I'm rambling on, guys. It is what it is. Let's go over here. Okay, so Florida. This is interesting, guys. And I don't know, maybe this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it's very interesting what's happening in Florida. Ron DeSantis, he's coming for Byron Donalds. Yeah, man, a fight is breaking out. All right, so there were a lot of people making a lot of fun of Byron Donalds because Trump didn't pick him for a cabinet position. It's hilarious, man. Everybody, it's so funny. I saw all these Democrats, you know, of note, you know, in cable media, laughing their ass off because Trump didn't make Byron Donalds or Tim Scott like, I don't know, the HUD or something or Commerce. I don't know. but they were all saying that they got used and abused and served like hell till they were found hung in the cell or something from from Melly Mel. Furious 5, I think that's who did it. But anyway, yeah, they were saying that. But turns out that Byron Donalds had a plan up his sleeve that includes something much higher up the trough than being a part of an administration that is not a very exciting job. Next segment.
We've achieved victories in Florida. We need to start achieving those victories up there. So I think people look at it and say, you know, you got a guy like Byron, he just hasn't been a part of any of the victories that we've had here over the left over these last years. He's just not been a part of it. He's been in other states campaigning, doing that, and that's fine. But okay, well then deliver results up.
It's looking very good for you now, a double-digit lead in the GOP primary. What's your message to Floridians that say, I love this state, we want to keep the good times going?
My message is simple. We have the best run state in the country. Our governors, Ron DeSantis, Rick Scott before him, have done a tremendous job. The mission ahead is to keep it going. It's one thing to be the best state in the country. It's another thing to continue to be the best state in the country. And so my mission is to build on what they've done and do things to take Florida to new heights.
You know that.
So check this out. So I guess my lead, told you exactly what's going on. But yeah, he's running for governor. And it's basically like he's a shoo-in. Because, ain't no Democrat going to beat him. And it is what it is. Ron DeSantis is termed out. Okay? So Ron DeSantis is, what is it? Ron DeSantis can't run again until at least 2030. And current polls highlight Casey DeSantis, his wife, and Byron Donalds as the front runners among potential 2026 candidates, with Casey leading in favorability and Donald showing strength among committed GOP voters. So right now, Casey's doing pretty good, but then I'm looking at it, I'm seeing, things look like they're changing because Byron is picking up. He's picking up. So he's got a really good opportunity to become the next governor of Florida. Of course, we're talking about primaries, right? But 60% of Republicans were, hold on a second. It says a separate Victory Insight survey of likely Republican voters from January 2025 showed Donalds leading other potential GOP candidates, indicating strong early support bolstered by Trump's backing. So there we go. So, but his weak spot is that he spent so much time with Trump, helping Trump get elected and doing stuff for Trump, that some people in Florida are like, who's this guy? So that's what Ron DeSantis is, the earlier clip I played. That's like, that's the card that Ron's playing. He's like, this guy hasn't been here. He hasn't been here, so who is this guy? So yeah, Ron wants his wife to get his job. Maybe she will. I don't know anything about his wife. But she's got a higher favorability. And since she's been there and people have gotten to know her, they like her. So that's the competition. I hope, I don't know anything about his wife. I don't know what she does. I don't agree with everything with Byron Donalds. I don't agree with everybody with everything. But I got to say, just to see the faces melt off the Democrats, I'd like to see this happen for him. Yeah, just see his face melt off. Yeah, just to see all the people that were talking smack as if he was an idiot, like he was a sucker, like he helped Trump and he didn't get nothing for it. Yeah, because they, he just got endorsed for governor. And Trump's like the most popular politician in America right now. So with all the naysaying and all the bashing and all the other stuff, if you want an endorsement, you better not try to get one from Kamala or Joe Biden. Okay? So, yeah. So, they ain't exactly putting asses in the seats. Okay? Looks like you'd be better off getting an endorsement from Jasmine Crockett. She's the face of the Democratic Party. But I don't think that would help in the whoever wins the Democratic primary down there in Florida. I don't think Jasmine Crockett can help you. Anyway, just throw that out there. Now, I like to show people, though, like I said, we got differences on several things, but I do like this segment right here, Byron Donalds. This segment I'm about to play for you is him cooking. He about to cook this CNN lady. Sucks to be her right now.
Well, look, I'm gonna repeat myself a little bit here.
Okay.
It is important that we stabilize not just our economic relationships around the globe, but also the fact that we got to secure our border and we got to stop the flow of fentanyl. Give Donald Trump the opportunity to actually negotiate with the Mexican president and with Canada and with China. You got to give him that opportunity. Because when prices were rising in the United States, I didn't hear CNN talking about that much. As a matter of fact, you ignored most of it while it was hurting the American people. So let the president negotiate on tariff policy. That is what he's doing, and it's going to work out to the better. You didn't cover it the way it needed to be covered. Let's just be perfectly honest.
Okay, well, that's a matter of opinion.
You let the last administration get away with it, but the
That is your
American people
opinion, but we
suffered as a
did.
result.
But
Oh, no,
even-
it's not my opinion. That's a fact.
Okay, no, it's not a fact. Congressman Byron Donalds, thank you for coming on to share your points of view. We appreciate your time and best of luck in your run for governor of Florida. We'll be right back.
Damn. Ow. Ow. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he put that fake smile on at the end. After cooking her, man. I don't know what's worse. Getting punched in the stomach like she just did on live TV, or him smiling afterwards like we're friends. He's got the job. He's got it down pat. How you supposed to roll? No, it's a fact. You're an idiot, and then your people are one-sided, biased, and garbage, and it's Clinton News Network. But thank you for having me. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. If you come to battle Byron, you know, don't bring a spoon to a gunfight, because he don't mince words. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting. It really is. It's going to be interesting, and we all know it's true. That's the other thing. As far as what was just said there, that we know damn well that CNN was not reporting how horrible things were going for a lot of Americans under Biden. Now the sky's falling because Trump's been president for 2 months, but we all know for them 4 years with Biden behind the helm, it's not like the stocks or whatever is less, it's worse than it ever was under the 4 years of Biden. No, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. But yeah, it is what it is. We just had a president that was incapacitated but still in office and lied to the whole world. And we had CNN and MSNBC and all these other networks pretend he was competent. And now they want to actually hold other people accountable. Come on, man. There was a president by proxy going on with a shadow government. That's what shadow government, the complete definition of it will be people that were unelected running our government. And that was what was happening under Biden. Heard somebody say, they talked to Biden and asked Biden, like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? He said, I didn't do that. No, you did do that. You did. Why'd you do that? He didn't even know what he did. He didn't even remember things he signed. Now, no, look, I'm just saying, CNN was quiet about that shit. There's a book about to come out. There's a book about to come out about all the ways in which they covered up Biden's incapacity, his incompetence. About to come out, and the lid's about to be blown off. And those people that are going to be implicated should never work either in government or media again. But I'm sure you'll make excuses for them if you're the Democrats, because it was for the best. All right, guys. Let's keep it going. Hit the like button for us, guys. Hit the like button. Let's try to get to 400, man. I feel like we're falling short tonight, man. I guess it's just me, man. Sometimes you take a day off and, I don't know. Maybe it's the stories. I don't know. Let's try to end with a bang. How about doing that? How about we end with a bang, guys? I can do it. I can do it. I can hit a three. I can get fouled while I'm doing it, make it a 4-point play. Let's see what we got next.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, y'all got to bench Elon, man. y'all gonna have to bench Elon. Elon is not gonna be long for this world as a major American political figure. I watched his interview with Fox. He said, during the interview, he said, I don't know why I have to do this. He's annoyed at the perch that he is on right now and the way he's being perceived. He's opened himself up to a level of scrutiny that I don't think that he's going to be able to bear. I don't think so.
Well, his companies are certainly having a hard time.
Well, listen, I don't think we're going to have to pass the hat for Elon Musk. The guy's worth $300 billion. Do the math. If he put his money in tax-free government bonds, he would get $15 billion a year without touching the principal. So these setbacks that people are so concerned about, I wouldn't worry about it. I think it's patriotic what he's doing. I think that he's a disruptor. I think he is looking for fraud, corruption, and waste. And you know what? If we find fraud, corruption, and waste and we end it, then we have more money for hospitals. We have more money for education. We have more money for infrastructure. Is that a bad thing?
I'll tell you what is not.
Let me tell you what is actually doing that, but there's actually not a lot of evidence.
I'll tell you what is bad and what is not patriotic is calling Mark Kelly a traitor. He called him a traitor today for having gone and visited Ukraine, which many Republicans and Democrats in Congress and in the Senate have done in the last several years. Mark Kelly is a naval aviator. He flew missions.
Yeah, I don't care about Mark Kelly, though. I don't. People get called all types of stuff. Let me jump past Ann Navarro. I guess she had nothing to say. I guess she wanted to just throw that out there. Go to the next thing. You still talking about that? Come on, man. I'm trying to rebound.
I think he serves a great purpose in uncovering fraud, corruption, and waste, and I think it's a patriotic act on his part.
Look, I spent 5 years in City Hall working on government efficiency projects, and here's my advice for Elon. It's one thing to talk about efficiency, but what people actually care about, as you know, sir, as a local official, they care about efficacy. So if you look on the Doge board, it just shows how much they're cutting from the federal government. How about a board that shows how long passport times are taking, that shows how quickly people in the Veterans Affairs are getting their benefits? That's what people actually care about. And if he does that board and shows that he's making progress on that, that's showing that government is actually working for people. I think everyone here can get behind that.
Scott?
I think on the entitlement issue, which you played, the president is in charge. He has made it perfectly clear he is not touching Social Security, Medicare, and even Medicaid, other than to say if there is fraud in any program, he'd like to root out the fraud. That's period. He's the president. The buck stops with the president. He's been clear about that since he started running in 2015.
I mean, Republicans are getting ready to cut a lot.
Yo, I said that, and people just act like I was talking, I don't know, another language, like I was making up a new language that, you know, like I was telepathy, like I was talking to the dolphins or something. Like, no, it's or they were like, yo, but you can't trust Trump. Just because he said he won't cut it, he probably will. He came out the womb lying. But that Biden, though, that's a saint, Tim Black. Hey, that's where you're wrong, Tim. You trust. I'm like, Trump's been saying that. This is the same thing, man. Look, I've been covering politics for over a decade now. The song and dance about Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid happens every election. Every election. The Democrats say Republicans are going to cut it, and they never cut it. It's never happened. You even I just played earlier today, if you just got here, I played a clip of Democrats talking about cutting it. Nancy Pelosi was talking about cutting it. Obama was talking about cutting it. Bernie Sanders was talking about making cuts. You know, so it's a thing everyone talks about, but never really happens. Now, he did say, if there's fraud, abuse, and waste, we'd like to get that part out, but not the benefits, not to the benefits, not to benefits. Benefits are not fraud and waste. It's the other ish. And like, why can't we ever look at it like that? You know, why can't we look at the other stuff? There's other stuff, you know? there's you got 300 channels on your cable, but you only watch 20 of them. If really you watch 5 of them, the rest, I'm not saying get rid of cable, but get rid of some of those channels that you don't watch. You watched them one time because of that thing that was on them. Now, am I saying you got to get rid of cable? No. Come on, Scott, speak some truth to him.
From Medicare.
Well, you call it cuts. They're calling it could be slowing the growth of the program or rooting out fraud, but that's different than cuts.
Well, here's the reason I have a lot
$800 million worth of fraud.
Yeah, and I have a lot of reason to doubt what you're saying because
let me tell you something. There's a huge able-bodied population in this country that should not be on welfare. That is a true story.
Okay, first of all,
that's actually not true.
Hold on a second. Welfare is not the biggest driver of this, actually. But what I'm saying is that Doge has put all this money on the board, and they've said, oh, this is waste, fraud, and abuse. And when you really look at it, they're just programs that that Elon and the president and random 20-something-year-olds don't like. So when you say fraud and abuse, there's not a lot of evidence.
The first word is usually waste, and they consider it to be waste.
Do you think
they are not actually doing that? When Congress authorizes money for a program, or a program is duly authorized, that's not waste, fraud, and abuse. That's just something you don't like.
Abby, everybody wants to find waste, fraud, and abuse until somebody actually does it.
Do you think people...
This is the problem. This is the problem. They're actually saying, okay, maybe this is wasteful.
No, hold on for a second.
And then Washington goes crazy.
That's untrue. It's been done. The Clinton administration was able to put together an
30-something years ago.
Right, but the point of it is the way that
never happened. It definitely
it's been done. But the way that they went about it was to study for 6 months and then to take a longer time to understand which government jobs needed to be rooted out. He fired a bunch of people. He ended with a budget. It's been done. It's just the way that you guys are doing it.
I know. And the way that we're doing it is that you don't want us to do it. In 2019, we spent $4.4 trillion as a government. Last year, we spent $6.2 trillion. The government's gotten more expensive and much larger over the last 5 years. The only question Republicans have is, does it have to be this large and does it have to be this expensive? That's the question. And Elon's finally trying to cut into it, and the Republicans in Congress need to help.
You guys should start it in your own house because your president drove up the deficit as much as anybody ever has, maybe more than anyone.
And why? So what happened at the end of Trump?
So then,
any memory of it?
I do remember. Even before then, though. Even before that, though. Everybody's got Google. So the reality of it is this: if no one that I know is against finding waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. However, the way that you go about doing it, you don't play with Americans' lives, you don't play with their jobs, you don't do things haphazardly where you have to fire people, then
Can you name one thing you do differently?
One thing I do differently?
You say
so now you're going to make me in charge of those.
No, I'm asking.
Okay.
You say you're against waste, fraud, and abuse. What would you consider the government to do that's wasteful today?
Okay, well then what I would do if I was looking for waste, fraud, and abuse is I would start in the Defense Department and at the Pentagon. I would start with the defense industrial complex of America, and I would look there.
I think Elon and you were in agreement on that.
Well, he hasn't. The question is, when are they going to get around to it?
Because they're starting off with
firing park rangers.
But hold on. One of the other things, you started your comment by saying the president's in charge. He's not going to.
Everybody thinks the Pentagon needs to be cut, and that's where the $2 trillion, that $2 trillion mark. Yeah, I don't know how many trillions we could get out of the Pentagon, but man, I don't think they've ever balanced the budget. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, I want us all to get that $5,000. I'm not Jasmine Crockett, okay? And I'm pretty sure you can come up with something to do with it that's positive that would help your family. So, yeah, and I wouldn't say, what good is it? You're going to get put out tomorrow. Like, okay, what if I don't? But, Jasmine Crockett has that crystal ball. She knows all the Americans who would get $5,000 who are taxpaying citizens, they would have no use for because they're all going to lose their federal jobs. Crazy talk. My thing is this. I agree, but you remember there are people that work at the Pentagon. I know because I used to drive past it every day. When I worked in Northern Virginia for a point in time, when I worked for the phone company. And yeah, there are people working there too who probably want to keep their jobs. Anytime you got to cut, there's going to be people losing jobs. People going to be mad, son, unless they get a good severance package that enables them to go start their own media company.
Touch Social Security, and Medicare, and Medicaid. That's where all the money is,
It's
Scott,
true.
which is why
We're fighting
Elon-
over 28%.
No, wait, he said
Okay.
he was no. He said he
Okay.
wasn't going to cut entitlements.
No.
They
I'm
are going to
telling
look
you,
for fraud in Medicaid.
Bruce,
They are going to look for
I'm telling
fraud
you
in
what
Medicare.
Scott said. Scott
Okay.
said that he wasn't going to touch it. Elon said, correctly, that's where all the money is. So if you guys actually want to produce savings, you are going to have to touch it.
Actually, we started this.
They will not cut
We
benefits.
started this
They will not
segment.
cut benefits.
Wait, we started this segment
Is that gonna
talking
be
about the
told to the
fact
American
that the president's closest aide, the guy who's attached at the hip to him, Elon Musk, called an American hero a traitor to him.
Oh, God.
Okay, but you said that already.
No, because you
Yeah,
haven't
you
condemned
did.
it.
What does that got to do
Because
with
that's what this segment
what
was
is that-
about,
what
actually,
is
and you
that-
haven't.
What a jackass. She has nothing else to say. Why is she even on this panel? Abby? Come on, man.
Condemned it
that got to
instead
do
because
with this?
because you want to talk about something else instead of condemning what is condemnable.
I will say that Bruce did, well, maybe I shouldn't go so far as to say condemn, but you said that you do not condone
like it.
that kind of language.
Bruce basically said chill.
So
I don't like it.
he did say that, but
Let's talk what this is actually doing. I think the people who are paid to ID bodies of people killed in action who can't work right now are not waste, fraud, and abuse. I think that these kind of things that we're seeing, the people who oversee our nuclear stockpile are not waste, fraud, and abuse. These mistakes can't happen. It's too critical to our
The
country.
veterans who we promised we would protect.
We'll never,
when they
we
came
will
back.
never, we will never spend unless some administration has the guts to see this through. We will never ever spend less. We will never have a smaller government.
I take
Everything
your point,
has a constituency
I take your
in
point
Washington.
about finding the spending that you want to.
That's an accurate statement. Like I said, everybody's got a mother. Everybody's got somebody that loves them, even if that somebody is them. So it's always going to be pushback, man. Unless you get a great severance package that you quietly go, hey, this is okay for me, and those people will never, and that's just the nature of it. Even if the exit package was great, do you think you'd ever hear about it being great? I know that some federal workers will get a great exit package. I thought it was great. Paid for like 9 months. And aid in helping them find a new job as well. I thought that was pretty good. I mean, there are Americans every day that get fired and don't get anything, who get unemployment for a couple months. Like a third or fourth of their salary. But we ain't supposed to talk about that, though, are we? So I feel you. But there are companies that are closing. I think the number was 40%. I think it may be a little bit higher. 40% of black small businesses went away due to the shutdowns in COVID and never came back. I said 40% of black businesses went away during the shutdowns in COVID, in the pandemic, and they haven't come back. I don't see any violins playing. Those are people too. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, so yeah, life's hard for everybody. But it always seems like it's harder for a certain group of people when it comes to shit like this. Because they were underfunded to begin with. They were undercapitalized to begin with. So when the cuts came or when shutdowns came, they were the first to disappear. Okay? So I'm not saying that makes up for it, but I'm saying some of the conversation around this are like people that don't get that sometimes things change. But us in the private sector, no. When I was a contractor, you get fired, you ain't got to do nothing wrong. If they were cutting back contracts, you'd be gone. And there was no severance package. Yeah, they'd hire you, you feel like on top of the world. You start your job with a phone and a laptop. And you feeling good. What kind of laptop you get? What kind of phone you get? Yeah, but when things turned, if you lost a contract, I can't log in. Yeah, we know. Oh shit. That was your severance. That was your notification. Or voicemail. So yeah, I'm just saying that, there are people that have been living with this type of instability for a long time. That's all, I'm just pointing it out. Some people have been living with instability for a long time. And as much as it sucks, I get it. You don't want to be unstable. You don't want to go through changes. Yeah, I used to feel that way too. Then I got stabbed in the back, and then they took everything. And then, anyway, no. It's all good, guys. Let me know what you think about this whole scenario. It's, I just keep seeing people like finally see what it's like a little bit, to be black. And they don't like it much. But I thought everybody was black. Like every time I turn around, you're comparing us to LGBTQ. Oh, you're comparing us to the migrants. Oh, you can't say that. You know how it is to struggle. They just want a better life. They're getting locked up. They're being picked up. AOC's crying because people who are undocumented or if they committed crimes of being undocumented in the country, been here 10, 20, 30 years, and didn't go through the process after 10, 20, 30 years, she's crying because they might get arrested. Meanwhile, Black Americans are getting arrested like hotcakes. More than anybody else. I don't know. Hotcakes is not a definitive number, but I'm just saying. So it just seems to me like repeatedly what I see is all these groups that every time they needed something, or every time the Democratic Party wanted to hook them up, they would attach them to black people and use blackness, the struggle of the blacks. It's sort of like a mechanism, like a cheat code to help everybody else. And it looks like some of those people that have been using blackness might have to be honorary black people for a minute. Meaning they might have some hard times too. Maybe it's going to be some hard times to spread around a little bit. And I'm not cheering for it, but don't expect me to cry about it. Because we've been the first fired and the last hired forever. So, yeah, I get it. And I know there are going to be some Black Americans who are going to lose their jobs because of the cuts. I understand that. And I do not feel good about that. I do not feel good about that. Biden letting in 10 to 20 million new Americans. I wonder where they're working. I'm just wondering. Chicago. At the hearings, Chicago mayor, he said $500 million is how much they spent on their undocumented people. $500 million. The Boston mayor couldn't even tell you how much she spent because she doesn't count. She doesn't count what taxpayer money she spent on undocumented people, on new arrivals. Doesn't even count it. It's not even in a column for it. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. What I'm saying is there's nothing fair in our system, right? There's nothing fair. If you don't have money, you get screwed. And that's how it is. That's how it is. And if you have money, you might be able to be a little less screwed. But it is what it is. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I just feel that it's a little early to wring your hands and to pop the pearls off your necklace and and to act like the sky's falling just yet. We got time. If the sky's gonna fall, we'll know it. We'll know it's falling. I heard egg prices dropped. Just know that all things bad are all you're gonna hear them report. They're not gonna report anything good, at all, or even decent. Everything, the sky's gonna keep falling because the Democrats are out of power. That means the entire country has to pay for it by listening constantly to news reporters tell you how bad the country's doing. That's all. So we get to get punished because Kamala sucked. All of us got to listen to this shit forever because Kamala sucks. Because things were worse under Biden. I mean, the pandemic, he came in, things are much worse, but people didn't talk about it that way. You weren't hearing the tone be, oh my God, doomsday. Were you? And that was on the hind legs of pandemic with shutdowns. So how is now considered worse than that? Well, because now Democrats out of power, they don't run any part of the government at all, and they got their asses kicked. So now we get to suffer because we get to hear about how it's doomsday and the world is ending. And the only thing that's happening, if we're lucky, is the end of the Democratic Party. That's what I would like to see happen. All right, guys. I'm Tim Black. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button. I would appreciate it. That would help us in the algorithm. It ain't for bragging rights. There's no one to brag to. It's just to get us in the algorithm some more so that more people can find out about the show. A brother hit me up and told me he liked the show. He's a consultant. And he hit me up and said how much he liked the show. He just heard it for the first time. So we are reaching new people. Our political consultant said, hey, really great show. So let's keep going, man. I need to reach more people. And there's still so many people that don't know anything about what we talk about here, and they can benefit from a show like this. Let's go to the comment section, man. Who's out there, man? Tim Black's Wolfpack, thank you for what you do. Mamba, hook somebody up. Thank you, Black Mamba, for giving someone a gift of membership. Lucicha, thank you for becoming a member. Jamal Duff became a member. Thanks, fam. I appreciate you. Diamond, Tim, your work is iconic. Love you and the Wolfpack. Diamond G, man, I appreciate you, fam. Damn, brother said I was iconic. Bruh, man, ain't no one ever said that, man. I appreciate you, fam. I don't even know how to tell. I don't even know if I got enough self-esteem to take a compliment that good. Damn. I appreciate you, fam, for real. Damn. Yaya's kids in the house. Thank you, Yaya's kids. Chuck Schumer is a demon in human form. They live. And Black Mama came back with another sticker, guys. Go to timblackmug.com. Thank you, Black Mama. Go to timblackmug.com. Get your mug. 20 to your door. 20 to your door. Nothing but the best to you, fam. Remember, like I always say, don't you let anybody take your cornbread. Don't do it. Them suckers don't deserve your cornbread, Johnson. And don't let them rob your peace of mind. And don't you let the fact somebody else gets chose and you haven't been chose, don't let that lay on your heart too heavy. Don't let that disappointment make you take it out on people that love you. All right? And don't take it out on yourself. This is an unfair system. It always has been. Who you know matters. Even if these people want to lie to you and say, meritocracy. Yeah, who you know matters. Like if you were, even for white guys too, knowing Joe Rogan is a very beneficial thing. Think of just look at it that way. Think of how beneficial it is to know Joe Rogan. Pretty beneficial. Think about it. Think about all the careers. People say, oh, who was that? Who was that jackass who was on Shannon Sharp's show complaining about black people not working together? And then he compared them to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is in a very privileged position because he developed a podcast 20 years ago or some shit. And he was already famous. Right? It matters. Had a show on a mainstream channel for years, and it was a one-of-a-kind show, Fear Factor. Very famous. So he starts a podcast with his friends, and it takes off. He didn't know it was going to take off, but he knows those people. Like, it's hard to say black people who don't have the same platform size, the same notoriety or fame or whatever to have the same pull should be doing the same things and helping the same amount of people. And also, once again, Joe has known those people for 15, 20 years, maybe longer. I know he's known Joey Diaz for 20 years, and a lot of other people that come on his show. So, yeah, it's like, who was it? Donnell Rollins, Ashley Larry? Halfway funny dude. And I'm being real, man, because I saw you live. That time I saw Dave Chappelle. You were there. But anyway, the point is, you know, my point is that the opportunities are not always, people don't always get the opportunity to do. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's cronyism. I'm talking about cronyism. I'm talking about helping your friends and stuff like that, you know. And I see a lot of people going on programs and shows of people that they know. That's what it is. So just as important as meritocracy, and people say black people don't work together, we don't hook each other up. I used to bring black people on my show, black new people in media on my show all the time. What did I get for that? Stabbed in the back, because once you stop, they hate you. But that doesn't mean don't do it. Just know, don't ever expect anything from anything good you do. Don't do it for those reasons. And always protect yourself and be a better judge of character. But keep on spreading the love. But I got to admit, I mean, I wasn't like I was Joe Rogan that your career took off if you came over here on the Tim Black Show. Nah. I wasn't on Fear Factor. I did do one episode of Dr. Phil. Who hasn't? All right, guys, that's it. I got nothing but love for you. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. You know, as soon as Al Sharpton retires, maybe MSNBC will hook me up, and then I'll hook everybody up. I'll bring on all of the new black media, you know, the ones that are ready to go, not those who are still training up, but those who are ready to go. I'll bring them up, man, and put them down. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got, man. I got nothing but love for you. I know I'm crazy, man. Tim Black, you tripping. I know. Why not? If you can't trip sometime, what good's have the platform? Yeah, you know it. Elizabeth Lundy says, where are my ladies? Where are my ladies? Oh, there they go. Next time.